Hi, welcome to 4.3, Using a Number Line. All right, so today, this is really exciting because besides helping you do level 3, this video is also going to help you with our weather project that we're working on in class. All right, are you ready to get going? All right, let's go. All right, so we're going to start here today with two thermometers, and we're going to do a little comparing. We're going to say, for instance, what's the temperature inside and what is the temperature outside? Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and put some mercury in our thermometer. And this is going to be our inside thermometer. And we're going to say that inside it's about 30 degrees. Okay? Now, outside, however, is another story. We've gotten a storm front in, and there is snow, and so it's only minus 10 degrees. Oh my goodness, that sounds chilly, doesn't it? So let's figure out what is the temperature distance between 30 degrees Celsius and negative 10 degrees Celsius. All right, so we're going to start over here. And we're just going to start counting down. So since this thermometer is measured out in tens, we're going to count by tens. So 10, 20, 30, 40. Oh my goodness, we've had a 40-degree change in our temperature from what's inside to what's outside. Wow, that's a big difference. So as you can see, I started with the highest temperature and then I counted down to the lowest one. Now I could also count up, and let's just double check it and see if that also works. So we're going to start at negative 10, 10, 20, 30, 40. Sure enough, it is also a 40-degree difference. So that's how we go about finding the differences between temperatures. We can have large temperature differences and we can have small temperature differences. We can measure the temperatures between days, the average temperature between weeks or months. This is a very helpful skill to have. All right, next, let's move on. The next thing we're going to do today is we're going to use a number line, and we're going to find the value of a letter on the number line. Okay, let's take a look at this number line. Now, it's only marked in fives, units of fives, and so we have 10, 5, 0, minus 5, minus 10. Now, we have to figure out what A equals. So the first thing I want you to do when you're trying to figure this out is look at the increments that you're given. Now we know these are by fives, and I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to get to here. So these are all basically ones, okay? So I can, to figure this out, simply count from the numbers that I know. I know number negative 5, negative 4, negative 3. So this could be negative 3. Let's just double check. Let's 1, 2, 3. It works that way too. The number A, or the letter A, represents negative 3. Okay? Pretty simple and straightforward. Let's try a couple that are a little bit more challenging. Okay, now let's deal with a little bit of decimals. All right, we have 0, we have a negative 5/100ths, we have a negative 1, we have a positive 5/100ths, and we have 1. And our A is sitting here and our B is sitting here, and we're going to try and figure out what A equals and what B equals. Now, once again, I need to figure out what does each one of these little lines in between the numbers that I know equal. Now, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that tells me they're each going to be equal to a 10, all right? And let's just double check on the other side as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sure enough, this is also going to be equal to a 10th. So right off the bat, we know that from 0 to this first mark is going to be exactly that, a -10. Okay, but what about B? All right, so we've decided all these lines in here are equal to a tenth. Now we know this is 5/10, and we know this is 1. So it's somewhere in between 5/10 and 1. So let's count. 6/10, 7/10. So 2/10 higher than 5/10 is going to give me 7/10. Let's just double check and go backwards. So 1, 9/10, 8/10, 7/10. Sure enough, B equals 7/10. Okay, this time let's use some fractions. All right, we have 0, we have 1/2, and we have 1. And we have 0, and we have -1/2, and we have 1. All right, so we're going to figure out what A is first. Now, like we said before, we've got to figure out how many of these are between 0 and 1. Okay, we'll do that this time, and then we can come up with a different, maybe another way of saying 1/2. Okay, let's count. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 8 lines in between 0 and 1. Well, that leads me to believe that we're dealing in eighths. Now, let's figure that out. So 4/8 is the same as 1/2. Okay, and that's a negative on this side. And on this side, we would have its opposite, 4/8 over here at 1/2. All right, and we remember we said that each one of these lines is worth 1/8. So on this side, we would have -1/8, and on the other side, we would have +1/8. Again, opposites. All right, so let's figure out what A is. So we're going to go 1, 2. So we got 2/8, and since we're on the left side of the 0, A equals -1/8. Okay, all right, then let's figure out B. This is exciting. All right, so we know that each one of these lines equals an eighth. All right, now let's start here because we know that 1/2 is 4/8, and all we've got to do is jump 1, and we'll find out that we have 5/8. Okay, let's just double check and we'll move backwards. So 7/8, 6/8, 5/8. Sure enough, we've got 5/8, so B equals 5/8. All right, now I hope that you've gotten the steps down. So the first thing that you want to do is figure out the value of each one of these lines on your number line. Okay, then based on the numbers that are given to you, you can figure out what the letters equal. All right, I think you have all the tools you need to be successful. 4.3, using a number line.